Very good afternoon, students. L.K. Tripathi is here. I will teach you History chapter 10, that is, as we have discussed many more important points about this topic in the last videos, through online classes, through videos, live videos, notes, so many items and tools are used for you to provide you the information related to the subjects and chapters. So in this concern, we shall discuss about a new video that is related to your chapter number 10 of history, that is Kingdoms of North and Northwest. There were a series of migration across the northwest borders from 200 BC onwards. Many foreign tribes from Central Asia crossed the Hindu Kush and entered India. Because this was only one route to enter in India, these foreign tribes were the Indo-Greeks. They were known Indo-Greeks tribes who came from the rest part of the world entered to India. The Pahalwas, the Shakas and the Kushanas, three main Indo-Greeks entered India, and in future they established their power differently in the parts of the country. These people made India their home. They greatly influenced the political and cultural history of India. The Indo-Greeks. Who were the Indo-Greeks? The Greeks ruled in the region in northern Afghanistan named Bactria. ग्रीक्स का शासन जो है ये नॉर्दर्न अफगानिस्तान के रीजन में रहा, जिसको हम बैक्ट्रिया कहते हैं. अंडर डिमेट्रियस सेकेंड दे अटैक नॉर्थ इंडिया and conquered part of Punjab and the Kabul Valley. They came to be known as the Indo-Greeks or the Bactrian Greeks. The Indo-Greeks introduced for the first time the coins with images of the ruling king. When Menander became the king, he made Sakala, present Sialkot, his capital. Menander was very brave ruler of this region. Found his capital in Sialkot. He was the most powerful Indo-Greek king. He brought a large area of the northwest under his control. He followed Buddhism and also issued a large number of coins. These coins and Buddhist texts belonging to his period form the main source of information on his time. He followed Buddhism. A large number of coins were issued by Menander. These coins and Buddhist texts belonging to his period are the main source of information of his reign. Second, that is the Pahalwas or Parthians. They were a tribe from Central Asia. In the 1st century CE, they occupied a large portion of the northwest, including the region around Gandhara. They made Gandhara their capital. The most powerful Pahalwa ruler was Gandopharnes. His rule extended up to South Afghanistan. The Parthian rule was very brief. Later, the Kushanas, who came from the present day Tajikistan, defeated them and took over the rule their territories. Kushanas, they established themselves at Takshashila and Peshawar after defeating the Indo-Greeks. The Pahalwas and the Sakar, later they occupied the whole of Kashmir and Punjab and parts of present day Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. They spread their power in these regions. Takshila Peshawar also was his region who defeated the rulers of these regions. After that, he established his power there. Later, they occupied the whole of Kashmir and Punjab and parts of present-day Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. The Kushanas were a nomadic tribe of northwest China or Tajikistan. They were driven out of their homeland by the Huns. As a result, they moved eastward and arrived in Afghanistan in the 1st century Christian era. The Kushanas were very dynamic, like the Indo-Greeks, Parthians and Sakas. The Kushanas adapted well to the Indian climate and made this country their home. They followed Buddhism and spread Indian culture to West and Central Asia. Kanishka was the greatest ruler of the Kushana dynasty. He came to power in 78th century. He formally established his power in the north and the northwest. He founded a vast empire including parts of Central Asia. Purushapura was the capital of his empire. The kingdom was the first big empire in India after the birth of Christ. Kanishka started his here let's go. Kanishka started his era in 78th century, which is 78 years behind Christian calendar. Kanishka was deeply influenced by Buddhism. He donated large sums of money to build Buddhist monastery. The fourth Buddhist council was held in Kashmir during his reign. He sent missionaries to China, Korea, Tibet, and Japan. During the rule of the Kushanas, trade brought India and West Asia into close contact. Many towns like Takshashila, Ujjain, and Mathura prospered. Trading contacts brought with it new ideas on art and religion. Achievements of Kanishka. Trade flourished during this period. He had harmonious trade relations with West Asia. Takshila, Mathura, and Ujjain were important trading centers. A large number of gold, silver, and copper coins were issued by the Indo-Greeks and the Kushanas. This encouraged trade. The development of new crafts also promoted trade. Kanishka established the Silk Route, which proved to be a connection between the East and the West. This was the most important trade route at this time. From China, it ran across Central Asia and ended at the West Asia provinces of the Roman Empire. Through this route, India exported pearls, silk, ivory, and precious stones, glass, copper, tin, and gold. Art. Kanishka established the Gandhara School of Art. This was an institution for promoting art and culture. Here, Indian craftspersons were exposed to the Greco-Roman style of sculpture. The combination of the Greco-Roman and the Indian styles of craftsmanship became the hallmark of the Gandhara School of Art. In this way, we have seen the relation of Indo-Greeks in India, how did they spread their power and their prominence in the country.